Hi, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We are continuing the Pacific. This is episode 2, titled Basilone, which, if I remember correctly, that is the name of one of the Marines we met in the first episode. But before we get into the actual episode and the actual reaction, you have a few things you want to say to the people out there who've been watching our first reaction video.
Yeah, well, I've accumulated a few things I want to say out loud. First of all, yes, I'm not Cat. I tried on one of the wigs. That won't help.
We're not going to fool anyone, sorry.
As for speaking up, I'm a shy guy, but I will try to speak up a little louder along the way. And I want to thank you for all the comments and all the history bits that you put in the comments. I really enjoy to get that little extra on how the Pacific campaign carried on. I like the history corrections on how it went. I do like the comments from families who had someone serving there. I like the Marines or the ex-Marines telling a little bit about the history behind the Marines. I really enjoy reading all that stuff. It's really great, and I think you should all read through it. It gives a little extra to the whole history on the campaign. I won't mention any names because, well, the whole reason why I joined the military is because I'm not very good with names, and in the military we got name tags, so I don't have to remember any names.
Everybody should do that.
Also, as for Chesty, it came to me afterwards to the Marines. I'm really sorry. I should have known a little bit better than just saying someone's called Chesty. In my defense, I'll say that I heard about Chesty in the mess from a colleague, U.S. colleague, and we were having a few beers, and the sentence that he said was, Chesty wouldn't give up, and I said, Chesty who? And if you connect the dots, you might see why I don't remember that much from that whole episode. I really like the whole Army, Navy, Marine banter in the comments. It's great to see that we have that between units, between people, and luckily it never enters the battlefield. And I have to put in a little dad comment along the way. Play nice. I would like you to be nice to each other in the comments. It's just a little bit better that way around. Mm-hmm. And as for the speed, people ask me about the speed, or could we get a few more episodes along the way? I would like you to go old school. Think about Flow TV. It's once a week. It fits better with my schedule. And also it gives me the time to read all the comments and all that stuff. So read the comments, get the little extra. And next week, there'll be a new episode, like in the old days. And I also like to say out loud, just in life, it's the journey. It's not the destination.
Exactly. And we are definitely on a journey here. And as you said, schedule-wise, it also works better with my schedule because there's a lot to do at the moment. And many shows that we're reacting to, new shows or old shows returning and everything. So yeah, one episode a week, that is how we're going to be doing it. But with that all out of the way, I think we're just going to jump into the episode. And you can, of course, always check out our full-length watch-alongs and early reactions over on Patreon. The link is down in the description below. And here we go.
I do like we get on the map.
Yes, they show us where we are. Makes it easier to follow sometimes.
Yeah.
You see Briggs? He's the man?
No, sir.
Jesus. Oh. That's pretty fatal. Don't even see the enemy.
JP. Yeah. Set up on that trail. On it.
Evans on me.
Yes, Sergeant.
An oven mitt? I'm guessing the weapon heats up a lot.
Yeah. That was in the comments as well. It's belt fed but water cooled machine.
Can't wait to see you and ever so slowly strip you of your. You don't need to hear that part.
Oh, that's precisely what I need to hear. They'll throw hands on my arm.
Without.
Rice without anything else.
So just rice.
Yeah.
I don't
want to hear about BO and pancakes.
I don't answer to you, Morgan.
What? Get the fuck off, lads!
So the Japs got us surrounded. Is that what's bugging you?
John, I shit like 20 times a day. My ass is killing me.
Hot child chill, yup.
Live rice.
Oh, okay. So there is some sort of meat in there.
Think of it as meat.
Yeah.
That was left over from Japanese because, as you saw, all the ships sailed away before they unloaded all. The
Oh yeah. They said that in
rations
the
and
last
stuff
one.
like
Yeah.
that.
The Americans on this island are not ordinary troops, but Marines, a special force recruited from jails and insane asylums for bloodlust. Rumors that they would never get here. To the contrary, the Army just landed. I know. So ain't nothing much we can do about our dungarees. We're just raggedy-ass Marines. We look this way for a reason.
Yes, sir.
Stay low, get greedy.
Get greedy.
Jeffrey, make sure you get those cherries! I got the cherries! Hey, give me a hand!
That's personal belongings, but right, shoes, cigars, yoink.
Get some new stuff and we fight with shit my grandfather used.
That's a gun rifle. And they were using old stuff.
Yeah.
And shoes. Not just any shoes, said they were his favorite pair of moccasins.
Wow. It's bad luck for that captain.
Well, you might want to watch where you wear those. Or smoke any cigars you might not have.
He got himself some whiskey.
Drink any hooch you might not have.
Hey, Peaches. Peaches. I got the goddamn runs. You had to get Peaches. They're all out of cheese, runner.
And
Peaches. Your new name is Peaches.
Fuck you.
You got it, Peaches.
both in pain.
Yeah. Apart from fighting the Japanese, they had to fight all these kind of diseases and all the stuff that comes with living in the jungle. So,
yeah,
probably kind of painful. Reference to Old Faithful. Shit's on the clock.
A dog? Nothing else to do but duck and cover.
Yep. When the Japanese still had the straits out there, so they could put in ships and shelter from the ships. So that's heavy ship grades.
Okay.
If the Japs do break through and they retake the airfield, our orders are to take to the jungles and fight as guerrillas. This is not going to happen.
Aye, sir.
Basilone, you and Rodriguez stay behind. Can you spare this hombre? I need another runner.
Hey, you want some limit stakes in there, Sergeant?
Yeah, go get it.
Limit stakes, it's stakes so we can see the distance.
Okay, yeah. It's just about to ask.
Yeah. They set up fields of fire so they would know who would cover what area and so on.
Yeah.
That also surprised the Japanese because they didn't quite get that part. They more or less always did full-on frontal attacks, banzai attacks, they call them.
Okay.
Only the officers get the lucky strikes.
Well, I can't have my platoon suffering.
That was the gesture of a gentleman.
We must really be fucked.
Yep.
Jam and crackers.
Here, Sergeant, while it's still dry.
Fuller, report, over.
I got the whole fucking Jap army headed your way. Over.
What?
When they're past you, pull out and hook up with Able Company.
1st Battalion, hold your fire as long as possible.
We don't have enough men.
Rodriguez.
Sir, run as much ammo down there as you can.
Aye, sir.
Shit.
Doing some quick thinking, setting up an ambush.
Yeah. Oh yeah, full frontal attack.
Tell me you got half a bell. That's it? Yeah.
This is our last box too, Sergeant.
Oh.
They broke through! They overran us! Both guns are out! Avoid the target! Aye, Sergeant!
Oh.
Got hurt.
Right, yeah, speaking of the oven mitts, yeah.
Let's go!
With no tripod.
Joe, what are you doing?
What is he doing?
He's clearing the field of fire.
Yeah, okay. You don't want anything blocking your vision.
Now you got a clear field of fire.
Okay,
Clear
yeah.
field to point. Evans, stay here. Hold this position.
Keep going.
It's quite important to get the ammo there.
Hey, Sergeant. Hand me that pail. Those are 3rd-degree burns. Have a seat over there and we'll get to you when we can.
Oh yeah. From the
Okay,
gun.
the gun, yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, anybody bring in Sergeant Rodriguez last night? Manny Rodriguez?
I wish I could keep track.
I'm putting you in for a medal, John. We're gonna be moving west toward Lunga, up on the ridge.
Of course he smokes a pipe.
Of course.
Doesn't get more badass than that. In the realm of smoking, that is.
I like the whole, when you point with a pipe,
Yeah.
it's only right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It sort of almost gives you more authority. Yeah. Please let him find Manny alive. No fucking way. that's gonna haunt him. Like, Manny saved his ass and he couldn't.
It's gone, isn't it? Doesn't matter. I'm enlisting tomorrow.
The worst thing about treating those combat boys from the Great War wasn't that they had had their flesh torn. It was that they had had their souls torn out. Give me some time to break the news to your mother.
Get your gear and stand by to stand by. We're finally leaving this shithole.
Guessing it's Christmas?
Yeah. What gave it away?
If it happens, it happens.
Now's
Get moving.
yeah. Now's probably not the time to process all of this. Though it's hard not to think about it.
Yep.
Shit, I can get you guys some coffee. Milk and sugar?
Black coffee will do. Yeah.
Any kind of coffee.
Yeah, any kind of coffee.
Everybody's heard of Guadalcanal in the 1st Marine Division. You guys are on the front page of every newspaper in America. You're heroes back home.
Probably don't really feel like heroes at the moment.
But it still kind of helped because they more or less thought they were alone for quite a while on that little island.
Exactly. Whew, all right.
That was another good episode, I think.
It really, really was. Really enjoying it so far.
The whole campaign was like 6 months or so, and they actually crammed a lot into this just to show how the battle itself was in the jungle, how the Americans set up fields of fire and dug in positions, how the Japanese attacked full-on frontal attacks. There was a lot more attacks, and there was a few battles along the way where the Japanese managed to get through, but I think the whole setup of this episode was absolutely great. It showed a lot about fighting the jungle and fighting the Japanese at night, and all the bucks and ticks and all that stuff during the day. Didn't have the rations they needed, didn't have the ammo they needed. They also fought with old guns. They showed the new guns.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that came up around Guadalcanal, which was the first real kickback, real offensive from the Americans against the Japanese, and a lot of things that they wrote about afterwards was actually crammed into this episode. I really like that. And it still takes the personal view on one single guy just by putting him in the name of the episode.
Yes.
So we have a focus on one guy will actually do a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly. And you also get that emotional connection, because it does help, of course, when you kind of know some of the people. You feel like you know some of the people, you're following them more closely. And that's, for me, him finding Manny and that whole thing, because we already know just from the first 2 episodes that those two were very, very close, and, from back home and all that. So yeah, it definitely has an effect, but also on you as a viewer, that man, fuck, he lost his buddy, and just the whole notion of thinking about if he had just stepped a little bit to the left, or if he had just slowed down a little bit or sped up, or you never know what could have happened, but what happened. And
there was kind of a Game of Thrones George R. R. Martin about it.
Yeah.
Building him up, making us like him.
Yes.
And then killing him.
Taking him away. Yeah, exactly. And of course, I mentioned, the guy who was playing him in the last one, John Bernthal, the Punisher. They took out the Punisher. God damn it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode as well. And it really, as you said, just showed what they're struggling with both during the day and during the night. How this jungle is, and running back and forth with the ammo, but some of the Japanese had broken through, so you had to fight them, or you were running the risk of running into them and having to fight them when you were going back and forth with the ammo. So it's just a shit show. And with they don't have as good equipment as the army, and they were kind of scrounging for food and everything, and in the ass end of the world, and then, as you said, getting the information that people know about you. You're heroes back home.
It will boost your morale.
Exactly, because they were probably feeling like, wow, we are just at the bottom of the bottom right now.
There's also the bit about Chester Puller when he told the soldiers, "You want to hear what the Japanese saying about you?" And at the beginning, they were going like, the Americans are too complacent, they are decadent, they are afraid to fight, lazy, whatever. And once they met them during the campaign, they ended up saying, well, these were quite good fighters. And then they came up with the idea that that must be Americans that they took out of jails and asylums and bloodthirsty guys.
There must be something wrong with them if they can fight like this. Okay. But that seemed like it kind of boosted the morale as well, just telling about that, and more of the notion that, the Japanese are probably getting pretty afraid of you guys.
If you have an impact on the enemy, that kind of helps you along the way. And,
yes.
And also the whole fighting with the Japanese, as you saw, they were full-on frontal attacks. They more or less went with that tactics the whole way through, kept on coming. They wanted to do night attacks. They didn't consider the Americans as real jungle fighters because they were cutting down the jungle and making fields of fire and all that nasty stuff.
Yeah.
That didn't quite work well for the Japanese with the full-on frontal attacks.
Yeah.
They really tried to just get up and into the positions and just to go to bayonet fighting and whatever. Yeah. And of course, the Americans also learned that part, so they kind of went in and cleaned out the positions that the Japanese dug out places and stuff like that. So that was really a learning curve for the Americans and the Japanese to meet each other on hand-to-hand combat on Guadalcanal. And it took about 6 months or so. So because the tides were more or less turning, the Japanese were really putting an effort into taking the Guadalcanal back. There was some fighting on the islands close by as well, and there was a lot of sea battles as well in that whole area. And slowly over time, up until the beginning of 43, the tide was turning for the Japanese, and that was more or less that's why it's a very important battle as well. One, as you can pinpoint a lot of turning points through the whole campaign. One was Midway, then the next was Guadalcanal, and next ones I won't get into now, but there'll be some more along the way, and a lot of discussions about which one's a turning point. But in my view, there can be a lot of turning points along the way where you can go, if you did this and if you did that. And there are a lot of historians discussing that afterwards, and a lot of stories coming out as well. This one also shows the whole concept of, if you're at war, you might have your soul ripped out. They didn't talk much about that when the war ended. They helped a little bit, but not much. Not like today, where we're way more focused on
mental health.
Mental health.
Yes,
it
exactly.
matters. Yeah.
That's also why I made the comment about processing it and processing what you went through. It may not be the best time to do it, immediately after, while you're still in the midst of it. But I would argue the case that it would benefit anyone who's been through something like this to kind of process it afterwards, because it will leave scars internally and on the soul and your mental health and everything like that. That's also something that we got a lot from Band of Brothers, and I do like that they are addressing that, because looking back and everything, because of course this series has been made way after the fact, that you can make some comments about some of that stuff as well. And I'm also thinking, just when you're mentioning historians and stuff like that they benefited greatly from someone like Leckie, who's really writing down a lot of stuff. And we also know that this series is kind of, also based on a lot of the stuff that he wrote. And I think Eugene as well, who we got towards the end, where, with the whole talking to his father and everything, and with the soul that he's gonna go. The heart murmur is not there anymore, it seems like. So now he can sign up and get his ass down there and help his buddies, and that's what he wants to do.
Yeah. Also, I like the way that they put in some banter between Army and Marines. They make all the funny comments along the way. The way they portrayed Chesty Puller as a guy that people were looking up to. That's also what all the notes says about him. If people haven't read about Chesty Puller, I think you should. It's a good story, and one of the good stories I like is that he takes care of his men, but he's still aware of what he's supposed to do. So one of the stories goes that a first lieutenant or young lieutenant didn't get saluted by one of the soldiers, so he told the soldier to salute him 100 times, and then Chesty Puller came along and said, "Well, actually, you know that you also need to salute back. So now you'll salute him back 100 times and I will count." So that he's behind his men as well, and he wants to have people behave to each other, but he was also demanding and since he himself was the kind of guy that he wouldn't stand down for anything. So he was also demanding to them, and they kind of showed that, but in a good way in this one. So it's
I find him very impressive. Just of course, just the way he's portrayed in this one, and he just seems like a really, really good leader to have, and someone who's great with his men, and he's supporting them. He's also being firm, as you're saying, getting stuff done, and he's very quick with coming up with strategies, even when his back is against the wall, just like he did there. So very, very impressive man.
I'm really looking forward to the next episodes and seeing the whole campaign carrying out. As I will try to not look at what the title is, more or less just one at a time, so I don't kind of get a hint on what direction it's taking.
Yeah, what to anticipate.
I like this whole seeing it for the first time, reacting to it, and comparing to my mental notes on how the war went on. I have a good idea of how it went on with the two different lines that it took, the Marines or Navy and the Army approach to things, and all the way up to the end. And as I mentioned earlier, I'll mention it again, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History gives you a very good background on why the Japanese were like the Japanese and so on. So I like that as well.
Yeah.
But good one.
Yes.
I like this one. I really enjoy this, doing it together with you. And,
me too.
And as I said also in the beginning here, please put on the comments on what you know about it, if you have family members and stuff like that. I enjoy reading that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't comment much, as in none. I don't put likes up and down, but I do read the text.
Yes, yeah.
So I'll enjoy that. And
exactly. Yeah. My father, of course, you're reading all the comments, and we are reading all the comments as well, or I am reading all the comments, and really, really appreciate all the knowledge and all the little tidbits that you guys are giving us, because it does add to the whole thing. Just reading up on that between the episodes and everything. And I am really, this is something that I'm looking forward to a lot each week now, is doing this with you, and with you guys, of course, because this is just, there's something special about watching this with you. So I'm really enjoying it, as I said.
And the right way to end this one is probably to say good night, Chesty, wherever you are.
Yes, I think we could maybe end several of them like that, because as you told me, that is something that, and also I think some people in the comments mentioned it as well, that is something that a lot of Marines will say still to this day, every time they go to bed, is good night, Chesty, wherever you are. And with that, that'll do for this reaction and review of The Pacific Episode 2, Basilone. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you very soon. Bye.